Okay, this video is going to give you a general overview of the third declension. You're kind of going to get the bird's eye view really quickly. So you can see all of the parts of the third declension all in one place. And then in subsequent videos, I will take each one of these and kind of work piece by piece this lex, pars, and flumen so that we understand how each of these parts work together and how each of these represents the third declension. So it's sort of like you've got three little declensions within the third declension. Okay, we've got the declension of lex, like I mentioned, the declension of pars, and you're also going to recognize that we have male, masculine, and feminine listed here with both. So in previous declensions, like the first declension, it's a feminine primarily declension, right? Unless there's an exception, like nata, natai. Or you have the second declension, which is primarily masculine, with just a few exceptions listed in the grammar that we won't even really cover for a while. And then you have this declension, and this one is unique in that we have to determine using gender numbers. Okay, so the gender, there are grammar numbers in the blue book. Anytime I put numbers like this, it means the blue book, the grammar. And those are the numbers that you'll look at to determine the gender of each vocabulary word. Now, once you've determined that gender, then you just write that on your flashcard and you just memorize that as part of your memory work, and you don't have to go back and figure them out. Once you have it written down, just write it into your book. Even the purple book, you know, when you see the vocabulary listed, just put next to it. Once you've learned those grammar rules, you'll be able to determine masculine, feminine, or neuter, and then show that, reflect that. And then finally, you'll also recognize that there are rules about to what declension, lex or pars, do vocabulary words belong, because you'll notice that these have some differences, and really they're very minor, and I'll show you that in a minute. But that's where we find the grammar numbers. You'll see that in the book they'll say 61, I think, or 60 to 63 or something like that. I just gave you the two main ones that'll determine whether the word follows a pars. Those rules are to determine pars. If the rule is satisfied by a vocabulary word, then it's a pars word, and it's declined by pars. You know, and if it doesn't satisfy a rule, then you know it's a lex word. And the only difference you can tell here, I highlighted the difference. The only difference between these two is the genitive. Okay, it's your genitive plural. Genitive plural. The only difference is that this one under pars gets an IUM ending, and the other gets UM ending under a lex word. That's the only difference. Otherwise, we just memorize this. And you'll also notice, and I'll go into this in further detail in the next video, as to why this says various. I'll cover that, okay? Because this is not set in stone, the nominative ending of words. And then we'll get to flumen later, but I just wanted you to be able to see it. And I highlighted the things that repeat because the nominative and accusative are always the same in the neuter. And you'll always have an A in the plural when it's a neuter word. And then you'll also notice the only difference here is the genitive again. Not necessarily the only difference, I just showed you these. But the difference between the IUM and the UM is that it's going to follow this UM ending. But it's neuter, okay? And so I'm not really going to cover much of that. But in the next subsequent videos, I will cover this and this so that we really understand. But I'm going to give you more of the focused version of these and not a global. And so that's why I wanted to just quickly give you a global, the big picture of where we're going with this declension, so that we have some idea of where we're going. I'm a big picture person. I want to know, why am I learning this and what's the big picture with this? So this just gives you, this is what it all looks like next to each other. This is what we're going to tackle for third declension coming this week and next and the following. So this will last a little bit longer, but it is very doable. I'm gonna take off the mask and make sure that you understand that this is not as scary as it looks. Okay? All right. Good luck.